Hey everyone, a while back I shared with you my summer sewing plans, 2 skirts and 1 pair of pants. And I'm all done with all 3. I love the skirts. They turn out really great. The pants, on the other hand, don't get me started on that. Well, all that and more is what I'm going to talk about in today's video. But I think we should start with the good news, right? So this is skirt number 1. Cotton batiste fabric, which has like blue and red little, almost like flowerish looking print. I was absolutely 100% in love with the fabric from the first sight. It's just the colors, they're so clear and they're so gorgeous. And the good thing also, even though it's a white fabric, it isn't actually see-through. It's actually quite opaque, believe it or not. And the skirt pattern that I used for this one is an old Burdastyle pattern, I think from 2008. I will definitely link to the correct pattern number in the description section. And I love looking through my old Burdastyle magazines to see if I can find some patterns that I haven't done yet. And, I still find, so I'm pretty happy now that I've saved most of my pattern magazines from the last 10 years or so, because I keep finding new stuff. That is the good part about, if you do get a Burdastyle subscription for a while, you don't really perhaps have to do it year over year, but do keep your old issues, because they do a really good job at, keeping a very consistent styling. The draft is very much the same year over year. So yeah, a really good investment, I would say. Anyways, let's talk about the skirt. It has a yoke and not a waistband, which I really like. It sits so well on the body, I think, because it just shapes so much, and it sits a little bit, below my natural waist, just on the hips. And I love having yokes. I'm always looking for skirt pattern that has a yoke rather than like a straight waistband, because, to be honest, I don't find that half as comfortable as like a wide yoke or a wide, curved waistband. So on the side and the front there is actually pleats. So they are, I think, about 3 pleats on each side. And the cool thing is that they're actually stitched down, but normally when you stitch down pleats, you think you would do it like vertically, but these are actually stitched down horizontal. So there's actually a couple of stitch lines running through horizontally, and that's a cute little detail. If I'd worked with another fabric, I would probably have used some contrasting thread or some other ways of really highlighting the fact that it is stitched down, but I didn't want to go crazy on this sort of summer fabric. In the back, pleats again, but this time only in the middle. Now that made it a little bit tricky, because I've done one adaptation on this pattern, is that the original pattern is actually has a zipper in the side seam, because the skirt pattern doesn't have pockets, but I want my pockets. So I've moved the zipper to the back, so I would have an uninterrupted seam for these side pockets. But because there are pleats in the middle, it looks a little bit odd now with the zipper. It's an invisible zipper, so the fact that it was sort of inserted within the pleats made it a little bit more tricky, to be honest. But I think I managed to do it all right. You can see for yourself if you think it was a good idea. If I do this skirt pattern again, which I definitely will, I think I will move the pleats to the side rather than having them in the middle, because they do add a little bit of a bulky feeling as well in the back. I'm not 100% convinced that was a good idea. What else? Well, speaking of side pockets, I do like to add them to all my skirt patterns, and I've also started doing it to a lot of my dress patterns. One tip, if you haven't already, is just to create one pattern template. So I just make a pattern piece that I can adapt for any type of side seams, skirts, dresses, so I don't really have to reinvent the wheel every time. I just pick out that old pattern piece and just adapt it to whatever project I'm working on right now. So this saves a lot of time if you want to make add skirts to your pattern, because they are still not always as common as I would like. But obviously you also have to move the zipper to the back. Now it does provide some challenging, such as pattern aligning, obviously. Perhaps not 100% perfect, but I'm not too bothered by that. But there are obviously pros and cons of having the zipper in the back. I don't really know if there are any other solutions for that. But, I mean, unless you're going to do some type of patch pocket or welt pocket, you really need to move the zipper to the back, right? If you're doing skirts and want to have pockets. That's at least what I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So that was skirt number 1, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And here is skirt number 2. Again, very simple skirt. It has pleats, because I do love my pleats. This one is pattern I drafted myself. It has kick pleats. I've been doing actually versions of this pattern since I began sewing in my teens, and this was actually one of the first patterns that I drafted myself using instructions from a pattern making book. I think it was about 17, 18, something like that. And I've pretty much kept with that style, you know, changing a little bit of waistband, you know, the length of the skirt depending on, you know, my style and stuff, but pretty much the same. One thing that I've been doing in the last, say, decade or so, when it comes to kick pleats, is actually to top stitch down the pleats. So you actually reinforce this area by stitching like a rectangular over the pleats, so it looks like this on the inside, so you can see for yourself. So you stitch that down, and that really, first of all, reinforces it. Also, it adds a really cute detail. So I could have used a contrasting thread, because I didn't want to do that right now because I wanted to let the fabric speak. Yes, the fabric, it's so great. It's almost like a painting. It's like it's printed like on top of each other, so it's not just one print. So it feels like they've done just like you do a painting. First you start with the flower and then you paint over that, so you can actually see through the layers of the print, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely fell in love with this fabric. It's just gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, I added pockets in the side like this, and a zipper in the back. This one is not actually an invisible zipper, so it's just a simple zipper. And I used an installation technique that I have from one of my favorite sewing books, which is called Sewing Secrets from the Garment Industry, or is it the fashion industry? Again, the link will be in the description section to this particular book. Highly recommended. And I've actually used it twice for this pattern. Also use it for the side pockets. Now obviously side pockets, they're not too hard, but they have a really good method where you actually do you stitch down, like edge stitch, like you do with a facing on the inside, and this actually keeps the pockets from, you know, flipping out, because that's kind of annoying. You want them to lie flat, right? So this method is super simple, just a couple, 3 or 4 steps, and I do that. I've done it both on these skirts and a lot of other skirts I've done over the years. So I do, well, the book could have been better, the photos could have been a bit brighter and lighter. The content of the book is absolutely priceless, so I can highly recommend that you get that Sewing Secrets from the Fashion Industry. Highly, highly recommended. Great, great book. I keep going back to it. I think I've used so many techniques now, and I still find new stuff all the time using that book. So yeah, excellent book. And as for the hem, well, I used regular good old blind hem stitching on my sewing machine. I keep going back to that. I just love it so much, because it does, at least for me, it's way more durable than regular hand blind stem. That's perhaps just my poor technique, but I do find this one much more durable. It keeps, you know, stable year after year. Of course, sometimes you will have a little bit of a thread dot showing through at the hem, but if you use like a very corresponding matching thread and, you know, experiment a little bit with the settings, I don't think it should be too much of an issue. So I'm a big fan of that. And as you can see also, I've actually serged the edge before I do the blind hem stitch, because that provides a really clean, neat finish. So yeah, a big fan of the blind hem stitch on the sewing machine. And I've been wearing both these skirts all summer. I just love them so much. And if you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram account is Last Stitch, then you can see so many photos of me wearing these particular skirts. You may think, is this the only thing that she has in the wardrobe? Well, pretty much. Well, I absolutely adore them, and they were absolutely everything that I hoped for, which is one of the great things about sewing, you know, when you have this idea and it works out. So I feel so much about both these skirts. I just love them. But all good things must come to an end, right? Oh, it pains me even just talking about this. I was actually thinking, should I do a video about this project as well? But I think, you know, it's important for me to share both the good and the bad stuff. And let's talk about the bad stuff. I talked about in my video where I addressed the plans that I was going to make for the summer. I talked about I really want to make a pair of linen pants, because I don't have one, and I love wearing them in the summer. So far so good. So I found a really nice linen fabric, I thought, and I set about to doing. I used an old Burdastyle pattern from 2008. A really cool, interesting pattern with some nice pleat details. But what a nightmare to sew. This is how they look. Now, I think it's pure linen fabric. First of all, incredibly wrinkly, but that is, of course, what can happen when you're working with linen. That's sort of part of the price you pay when you're working with pure linen fabrics. But the biggest problem I had when I was sewing them, it was so unstable. So even though I used like stay stitching, fusible interfacing, even wonder tape, I struggled with every little detail that has some type of structure. You know, the waistband I had ripped and it grew, and it was like a nightmare to stitch together. Pockets kept growing even though I stay stitched them. It was just so hard, you know. It was like the slippery like yellow thing you were trying to shape into a structured garment. It was like, I just started to feel, I also started to feel like doubting my own sewing abilities because I couldn't make it work. But because I was planning a trip and I was sewing these the day before we were leaving, I just plowed through and I finished them because I think, you know, I do need the pants on the trip. So I decided, yeah, I'm going to make them. So anyways, I wore them during the trip. I loved, actually, I started to grow into liking them because they're very, very comfortable. Yeah, of course, they grow like crazy, but they were absolutely wonderful to wear. And I started to ignore the fact that they were just a wrinkly mess because they were really so nice to wear. But about 7 days into the trip, this happened. Yeah. Several tears running through the crotch seam here, and I had an inkling that this could be a problem because when I was prepping the fabric and, you know, cutting at them and, you know, making sure they were straight grain, you know, when you pull the threads, I can see that it started to disintegrate in a way that I'm not really used to when it comes to working with fabric. It was really brittle, and I was like, oh, but maybe that's just you know, a little exception. It will probably work. But I should have listened and those first signals, because now I have this. I am thinking about zigzagging over it, just to mend it a little bit. But the problem is that I think that once this tear situation has started, it will keep on being a problem. So I will probably just end up having to discard them, and that's, I feel awful. And because I really like the pattern, I really like the style, and I think I should try, when I get over this pain of making these, is actually to use the same pattern and just use a better linen fabric. I suspect that it was an aging fabric. It probably had been exposed to sunlight or something like that, because it has a certain type of brittleness that I've never experienced before when working with linen fabric. So it doesn't have the tendency of something that's aged a bit too well. Big bummer. If you have any other suggestions on how to mend this, I'd love to know. But as I say, I suspect that this will be a problem that will just keep expanding to any type of seam that is under some type of stretch, I'm afraid. So yeah, such a bummer. I try to comfort myself because I haven't had like too many like failures in the last few years. That has definitely been less of a problem than it used to be. So I try to be happy about it. But now just talking about it, I get a little bit upset again. Anyways, but overall, 2 successful projects, 1 a bit of a bummer, but it was good testing the pattern and knowing that this is a really good, well-fitting pattern that I would definitely do again in the future. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed for me that the next linen project will be a much more pleasant experience. So these were my summer makes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for weekly sewing videos. Stitch safe, and I'll see you next time.